Hi everybody, it's Craig here, your personal fitness coach. I've returned from overseas, and as I said, I did a little body composition before I left to look at how my body weight and my muscle mass and body fat and all that had changed over a 12-month period every 6 months. And I said to you, in a 6-week holiday, the sort of things that can happen, and I wanted to have a look at the changes in that when I wasn't in my standard exercise program and my eating patterns had changed, the effect that it can have and what sort of results can happen in that sort of time, just to prove that things happen if you don't continue a regular exercise program. Now, luckily enough for me, not too much damage after 6 weeks away, and I did indulge in nice food and wine and really did enjoy myself, but I did do a fair bit of exercise while I was away. I did lots of 12k hill climb walks and kayaking and all sorts of different things, so I was trying to watch that and manage that as best I can. So I'll just go over the story to date. So obviously we'll look at the weight over time. So when I first did it, I was around about the 72.5 kilo mark, and I got into a strong exercise program. So body weight, I increased up an extra kilo, and then June, I was, as I said before I left, I was struggling through illness and I dropped a kilo there. And an interesting story here, I've been away over time, and my weight in 6 weeks, I've dropped another kilo there, but you'll find out in a few minutes time why that's happened, and that's because I wasn't doing any strength training. I lost a lot of muscle mass, but the interesting phase there is the fact that I've increased my body fat, which is quite normal, and also my fat around my organs. So the story goes there, my body fat was around 10%. This is all very good numbers too, by the way, so for a male these body fats are not too alarming, but I was training hard. As I said, my muscle mass had increased, my body fat had decreased there, so I was quite fit around that sort of time there. As I said again, I went through that health problem. I'd dropped about increased about 2% body fat, even though my weight had dropped, so that's quite an interesting story. And again, I've dropped weight here, but notice that my body fat had increased, and that's typically due to the fact that, you know, I was in an eating pattern that I'm not normally in, and eating foods that I don't normally eat in my regular diet, so I increased my body fat there even though my weight had decreased. My water content, I'm fairly well hydrated, and my fat around my organs, around my mid region, again, I increased a little bit there. That's probably related to the fact that my body fat had increased. But again, these figures here, you know, are okay until that starts getting over 12, so quite fine there. And my muscle mass again had decreased to a point there, so that's where I've lost my body weight, even though my percentage body fat had increased. So it's a really good story to show what's sort of happening over time. So it's not just a matter of fact of jumping on the scales. We want to look at it as a full all-round, so your muscle mass and, you know, your water content and your body fat and all that contributes. So you'll notice here my body weight has decreased, but body fat has increased. Muscle mass has decreased as well. So that's the story. I hope that all makes sense. Feel free to ask questions, and we'll see you at the club.